Hey, this is Rick Irving, and welcome to Hometown Heroes with my co-host Mary Staffeld. Today we have Jeff Johnson, and he's a CWO2, Chief Warrant Officer, retired from the United States Army, and a Texan from Garland. And Jeff, welcome to Hometown Heroes.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
I've read a lot about you and the things you do, and you've got a foundation that we want to talk about, but let's just kind of talk about you. You were born over in Garland.
I was several years ago, back in another century.
Ah,
That makes it
Uh,
sound like a long time ago.
my kids try to give me crap, and then I remind them that their brother was also born in that same century. So,
mhm.
And
yeah,
so,
I
you,
was born right there. Actually, the we were just talking before this. The VA hospital in Garland now used to be Garland Memorial, and that's where I was born. So, when I go to my VA appointments now, I walk into the place where I was actually born.
Isn't that something?
It's
Wow.
interesting the way things turn.
it
Huh.
is. And so
And
you grew up there, and what'd your parents do? What was your father?
he was a mechanic, so I don't know how long you guys know the area. He used to work for Dallas Power and Light
Okay.
back before TU bought it, Texas Utilities, which is now TXU, I think, or maybe I have it backwards. But anyway, he was a mechanic there, and he actually taught me. That was the first thing I learned to do. I was 11 years old. He had me working on my mom's car, and then I was doing breaks around the neighborhood, making little, baseball card, bubblegum money on the side. So in my bio, that's how I say I got into business. Was my dad teaching me how to fix cars, but I think he just wanted to go watch the football game, honestly.
And my grandson's 11 years old, and he's a really good mechanic. This kind of father figure he has really taught him a lot about mechanics and plumbing and things like that. But I keep telling him, hey, in another year or so, you need to start doing brake jobs because that's a pretty
Mhm.
lucrative business. And just
Mhm.
pull a wagon up there and do a brake job and make a couple $100.
Things are changing so fast, but those trades, they're really not going anywhere.
That's
So
they
it's great
aren't.
to have, and that mechanical background too goes so much further than just fixing cars.
Yeah. And so you made it through high school.
Almost. Um, I didn't really like school. I like the interaction I had at school. Honestly, I did a lot with the ag class and the FFA and stuff like that, and I really just enjoyed fishing and racing cars more than being at school. So I'd go in the front door, out the back, and we'd go fishing all day.
Gosh, you must know my sister.
And we,
I used to say that about her all the time. She would go
my
in the
dad said
front
that
door
one
and out the
day.
back.
I don't know if it was in quarter with the principal or what, but um, as far as I know, I never went to truancy court. He may have went in my place, but we'd go back after school, and they were like, "Hey, if you ain't gonna come to school, then you just can't be here." And I'd gotten a fight one day, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna have to expel you." And I said, "Fine, see you next year." And they're like, "No, don't come back to
You,
this school ever."
you're done, huh?
Yeah. Well, the bad thing was my brother was starting that next year, so when he signed up, and the counselor was like, "Johnson," he's like, "No, I'm not. Nothing like my brother. I'm not." But he did good. I actually ended up going to trade school working on cars, like we were just talking about. My dad found this trade school. I finished the last 6 or 8 months there. Actually got a diploma. Had to work at Pep Boys for like 6 months to complete that. But yeah, I actually ended up graduating basically from an automotive tech school. Got my diploma and took a couple college courses in engine repair and physics, different things. And then I met a girl and life changed and insurance and all that adulting stuff came into play. And I'm like, I was doing construction at the time, actually, up and down Legacy and all the apartments. I was doing fire sprinklers and I was making good money, but we had no insurance and kid on the way. And I'm like, military's got all that. So I ended up in the Army taking a pay cut, but I had great benefits. And yeah, to shorten that story, I divorced twice. And I said, if I'm going to get divorced, I better stay in the Army. At least I got a steady paycheck.
Yeah, and you can kind of move away if you need to.
That's how,
you know?
yeah. Like, hey, I got to go somewhere.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So
What'd you do in the
but
What'd you
that's
do in
how
the
I got into
Army?
military. I went in. I had no clue what I was doing. This is so funny. I went into basic, and they didn't really care, there. But you're talking to the other peers, and they say, "What are you working on?" I'm like, "I'm working on jets," and they're like, "Jets? The Army doesn't have jets." And I'm like, "Well, that's what the recruiter. He showed me a video of people loading missiles on jets." So I had no clue what I was doing. Honestly, it was aircraft armament and missile systems repair was the job
He
title.
showed you an Air Force video.
It was a conglomerate. I mean, there was helicopters. I just don't remember because the part that stood out, being from Dallas, was they were loading these missiles on a jet in a blizzard. And I'm like, well, that doesn't look like fun. I don't really care for the snow. So it wasn't actually until I got to my AIT or tech school, Mary, I don't know what y'all call it, after
Tech school, right?
yeah. So AIT for us, Advanced Individual Training. And then I figured out, I'm working on Cobra helicopters. And then about a month into that course, they're like, the Army's phasing them out, so you're probably never going to work on a real Cobra. And I'm like, so what am I actually working on? I'm like 6, 7, 8 months into the military, and I had no clue what I'm doing. Ended up transitioning to the little, it was called the Kiowa Warrior, but I transitioned over to armament and electronics on that. And then at 12 years, I dropped my warrant officer packet and said, hey, if I'm going to stay 20, I may as well try to get a little more money out of this.
Yeah.
But that's what propelled me into operations and running projects instead of just actually chasing wires. But no, I don't regret it. It was a long 20 years and it was fun.
Whenever you were working on the helicopters and going to training, did you go to Fort Rucker? Is that where you went, or
most
where'd
of
you
our
go?
training for the maintenance was at Fort Eustis, Virginia.
Okay.
Which is at Newport News, just I think just west of Norfolk and just west of Virginia Beach, where I spent a lot of time. But for warrant officer school, we actually did go to Fort Rucker. So the actual, I think it was an 8-week program there. And then I had 6 additional weeks of like aviation officer training. And then back to Virginia for more maintenance stuff. And it was, Fort Rucker once. And then most of the time was in Virginia.
Yeah, I spent an interesting couple of weeks up at Newport News working out of Langley at a wind tunnel. And I was staying it was a nice hotel. It was Courtyard by Marriott, which at the time was a really nice hotel.
Mm-hmm.
But on the weekends, they'd have the special, like $39, a night. And it was just, I put a chair up by the door and people were running up down the hall. I knew that any minute there was going to be gunfire because they were arguing and fighting.
That was probably all of us AIT students out on the weekends.
It might have been.
Yeah.
It might have been. But you went into the aviation maintenance as an officer then, a warrant officer.
Well, I was doing the maintenance on the helicopters, actually doing it. And then at 12 years in, I actually got selected for warrant officer. So I went from actually chasing wires and turning wrenches into spreadsheets and budget briefs and planning projects and people and everything else.
And you did some deployments too, didn't you?
I had 5 total. So I was the first stabilization force into Bosnia right after they had the I-4, the implementation force. And where were we at? We were at Camp Comanche. That was 97, 98. I was there for that. And then everything kind of calmed down for a little bit until 9/11. And let's see, 2003, right when we were going to Iraq. I'll never forget this. It was right before Valentine's Day, and we were taking family photos. We were at JCPenney getting photos done, and they called and they said, "Hey, we got our orders for Iraq." And I'm like, "Crap!" So now I got to fake this smile and not all this fear in my face. And what's going on? We're going to war. So 3 times in Iraq, and then 2010, 2011, I went to Afghanistan.
So you made the whole circuit, didn't you?
Toured. Hey, I got all Europe, Middle East.
Yeah, we have people on the podcast from time to time that did some stuff in Bosnia, but not a lot of people remember that because I mean that was a full-fledged war.
Yeah, that
And
Balkan War.
yeah, because we were it was kind of a United Nations deal, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, it was a big. I think the Belgians had 2 or 3 tents right behind ours. There was a, I think there was Russia. There was a bunch of different countries there, yeah. And it was like you go out, you see like tanks, rolling around, and it was just not U.S. It was a bunch of different tanks. Or we'd be out on convoys, and it's just all kinds of vehicles mixed together.
And
The
I
biggest
know
threat,
Mary.
like riots and the landmines. There wasn't a whole lot of shooting.
Yeah. And Mary, you spent some time over in the Eastern Europe, didn't you?
In Romania. I was deployed to Romania. Took a few F-16s and parked them on Putin's doorstep and said hello.
Nice.
Yeah, that was in 2019 though. So that was
Okay.
yeah. So my service is part 1 and part 2. So 7.5 years, 78 to 86, and then back in 05 until 2020. But
Okay.
so I got to see a lot of things on both ends of those, on those bookends.
Yeah,
Yeah, whole different world over there.
it is.
Yeah.
I mean, the cars, the stores, just the people in general, everything. It's something that more people should really be able to see,
Mhm.
but because of the threat,
Yeah.
it's hard
Well, and I
to.
think anytime that especially for people that are serving, but anytime you get to go and see different parts of the world. So I was in Germany, in Romania, in Qatar, and in Kuwait. So in between all of those different places, you see so many different cultures, and you don't take for granted what we have here,
Right.
because you see, extreme poverty, and you see, just dirty places, and you just see so much different stuff, and you see how people treat each
Yeah.
other. And you
I was
really
in
get
Qatar for a while,
yeah.
and I saw it a little bit different than
Yeah, well, that
Qatar
was
was really
Qatar. I mean,
nice. That was our
Qatar was,
R&R.
yeah, Qatar. I was the CENTCOM Forward Headquarters Senior Enlisted Leader and First Sergeant
Okay.
in 2018. But yeah, it was a much more affluent country, and they did
It,
some things very different. But it just depends on,
yeah.
it depends on where you were, whether you're dealing with the third, we call them TCNs and then OCNs,
Yep.
other country nationals, because you
Yeah.
couldn't call them third country anymore by then.
Oh, yeah. See, I know that was after me.
Yeah.
I remember Qatar. Like I said, it was R&R for us. So we went to the mall, and people are valet parking Bentleys and stuff just
Yeah.
to go
Oh,
inside the
yeah.
mall. Like,
Yeah. In Kuwait,
okay.
in Kuwait and Qatar, the citizens, the native people in those countries, very wealthy,
Mm-hmm.
very wealthy. But so they employed people from those other countries, and the difference in how they treated them and they talked to them, and just such a stark difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever you went to Iraq, you went there 3 times.
I did 3, yes.
And how much time between each deployment?
It was rapid. It was quick. I think the first time was 11 months.
Okay.
So it was like that 12th month was the settling in and then the gearing up on the other side of that break. So I did 2, and I think we were just over 12 months, if I remember correctly, on the first deployment. So it was like 12 months and 2 weeks, or just enough to get like that extra half stripe or something, to count towards it. And the last one was 0709, the surge. So that was a full, 15.5-month deployment.
Did you work at a one base, or were you in a forward base, or?
So the first time we moved, we started in Baghdad and we ended up in, I might get this wrong. Gosh, I don't even remember the base names now. 2000, I mean, we're talking 20-something years ago. Jeez, I'm old. to Al Assad. Al Assad was the first one we moved to. So we actually took that over from the Special Forces, the Australian Special Forces. They had occupied it. It was an old airfield, which worked out great, except for the hangars had like bomb holes right through the center, and we had to navigate helicopters around the holes in the concrete. But that was interesting. That was definitely changed a lot. By the second time, the IEDs had gone from like soda cans to dump trucks. So the second time was even as scary as the first. Things changed that quick in a year. And that's the one we were at. I think it was Talifar, if I remember right. Yeah, and they had the big operation where, like, way out west, Restoring Rights, I think is what it was called. But General H.R. McMaster was our regimental commander then, and he went to work for the Pentagon. Actually, I think he was in a civilian position too for a while, advisor or something. But he was a great guy. But that was 3rd ACR, so it was like 3 tank battalions and aviation.
So your guys that you were supporting aviation, they were going out on missions all the time then.
Yeah, we had scouts and tanks, and like they were in the thick all the time.
But you didn't have to go out with them, did you?
We did a couple. So the first time we did a lot of supply runs back to Kuwait, and then out to different outlying FOBs, taking food, water, bullets, switching people out, whatever. The second time, kind of the same, but we flew a lot more than drove. And the last time I was at 2 bases last time. I was actually a detachment NCOIC at Camp Spiker until I got picked up for warrant officer. The sergeant major had a thing against officers. So he pulled me back and stuck me in the QC shop where, quality control for helicopters. So I finished out that 15-month deployment there. And I was up in Taji, I think. I think that was way up north. It's like just south of where they caught Saddam. But the backside of the airfield got mortared all the time. They never made it too far, occasionally, but
yeah,
you
my
still have
husband
to
used to say the same thing when he was at Balad because he was there twice.
oh yeah,
And he said they had horrible aim
yep.
because he worked on the F-16 avionics. And of course, they were always aiming for those. But he said you could always tell when you were going to have attacks because the other country nationals would not show up for work that day.
Oh, they knew.
But he said they would lob stuff over all the time, but they couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
I think we had a couple shrapnel incidents with helicopters, but no people, if I remember correctly.
That's good. It's not
Now Afghanistan was a little different. They would set their mortars on ice and then disappear. So when the ice melted, the round launched and like it hit.
Wow.
And by the time we got helicopters in the air, there's just an empty mortar tube out in the middle of nowhere, nobody around. So
he went to Afghanistan twice?
Just once.
Oh, yeah. Just once? Once was enough, wasn't it?
It was different for sure. Yeah. We had a couple of crashes, like fatal crashes, multiple deployments, but we had one there that really hit home. The guy had just come back from leave and found out he was going to be a dad. And the Apache it stalled on a turn and ended up laying it down. But no, there was some great guys and a lot of good stuff learned over there. And I think we made it different. I mean, they built that whole airfield for us.
Do you keep in contact with some of those that you served with?
Actually, yeah. The commander and first sergeant that I had there, the commander was also enlisted, and we were all 3 Dallas Cowboys fans. So we kind of walked around. I actually bought hard hats, like construction hard hats with Dallas Cowboys. I bought 3 of them for us. So during the games, we'd go sit and put those on and smoke cigars and whatever. But no, I talked to them, connected on Facebook with a lot of people from Texas. So there's a big, and then once you get into like veteran communities, business and helping veterans, you start saying, oh yeah, hey, I was there. Actually, there was a couple guys in Corpus that I was with in Colorado from their first Iraq deployment. So yeah, the military's small, and then you niche down to like aviation, and it's even smaller. So when you run across those people, you're like, oh, hey, interesting.
We got a few pictures here. looks like you with.
Yeah, this was last year actually at our golf tournament. So shifting over to the nonprofit, we have an annual golf tournament. It's kind of our biggest fundraiser. But one of the things that people love is that AR. So we launch golf balls on a par 5 out of that AR. And I was like, you know what? I don't have a picture of me with this. So last year I made sure I got a picture with it. But we had so the first year we did, I think, was 3 years ago. And the houses, they actually called the police.
Did they really?
Yeah, and the cop came out. And it was not the county, so we're allowed to do it. He said, we got reports that y'all were shooting guns on the golf course. And I said, we are. And I just happened to be at the hole when he pulled up. He said, well, why are we doing that? I said, it's part of one of the games for the course is that they'll pay extras and they can launch the golf ball. They could shoot the golf ball out of the gun. He thought we were actually shooting bullets at golf balls. So like 10 minutes for him to register that no, we're not shooting bullets at golf balls. We're shooting golf balls out of the gun. So he went to shoot it. I'm like, come on, you're already here. And he's like, no.
Did he shoot it?
Nope.
He did.
Real stick in the mud, that guy.
This
first Iraq.
Okay.
E5 Johnson right there. That was in Kuwait, right before we rolled out. We were all staged, lined up, just waiting on the go. So we were all
a cav hat on too, huh?
Yeah, so it was third Armored Cavalry Regiment. Like I said, they were all tanks and scouts, and we were the bumper number, AV58. That was my truck, and it was basically a flatbed with an expandable workshop on the back. So it's basically a semi-trailer I was driving through Iraq.
Another cav hat. We introduced him to Rex.
Do you wear a cav hat at veterans events?
I don't now. I have. When I did a lot of stuff with the American Legion.
Yeah.
I would wear it before I became an officer with them, like the finance officer. I would wear that hat because it just stood out. It was a little different, you know.
Yeah, it's a cool hat.
It's a conversation piece for sure.
Yeah. One of our guests we had back in December, I think. Oh,
what happened?
Oh, sometime with your camera. Yeah, there you go. One of our guests, his name was Rex Gooch, and he wrote a book about the cav hat, the history of it, and then stories. And because we have Mary, you could tell them about Bill.
Yeah, one of our members, Bill Henry, who's a cav in Vietnam, and so was Rex. And Rex is actually going to speak in May at our luncheon. And he's anxious to meet Bill because Bill is in his book, but he has researched the whole history of the cav hat. But they were both cav in Vietnam, you know. And in fact, I saw Bill Henry recently at a funeral, and he typically will wear his cav hat, and except in a few instances, but he never wore the hat until we convinced him to tell his story at a luncheon. Lost you again, Jeff.
I'm still here. I don't know what's going on with the.
Yeah, your camera's not loving you. But yeah, so Bill, once he finally told his story and he got more comfortable that it was okay to tell the story, now he wears the cav hat all the time, everywhere.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's become his trademark.
It is.
And
really
what event is that?
Trademark.
Where he's speaking at?
So we do a monthly luncheon for veterans at Birchman Baptist Church. It's a free lunch, and we fill up for our March luncheon. For our February luncheon, we filled 500 seats in 3 hours. For our March luncheon, we filled up 500 seats in 2 hours.
Wow.
It's extremely popular, so we raise money for that to feed the veterans. But yes, it's in May. Rex will be our speaker. You'd probably really like him, and for his next edition to Cav Hat, you might get your story in his book.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to go find mine, and I might just try to get into that one.
You need to get into that and wear that cav hat.
Yep. Jim Sharp, who was a Korea War veteran, survived the cold and all kinds of stuff there in Korea. He recently passed at just shy of his 94th birthday, and every
wow.
luncheon he wore his calf hat. Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely a pride thing.
Yeah. As it should be.
Yeah, and then you have, I mean, assignment to the unit, puts you there too, but then you have the spurs, you have the spur ride where you actually can earn your spurs, and then you have the golden spur from deploying, and I've got those certificates too.
Yep.
That's
did
kind
the
of
spur
its,
ride, and then we ended up having a deployment kickoff, and I'm like, well, I could have just waited. I didn't have to go through all that hell. What is going on?
Oh, we lost him completely now.
while we're waiting. Oh, here, let's see if we can get him back on. He's having some kind of. You still there?
I am.
There you are. Okay.
Right.
It just keeps like muting everything. I don't know what's going on here.
Oh, I don't either. But yeah, there's a lot of history of the calf hat because it started a long time ago. And in Rex's book, you'll probably want to get a book whenever you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tells
he's
about.
gonna have him at the lunch, and he'll sign
Okay.
them. Yeah.
We'd love to have you come there because
Yeah.
we got cab guys and we got a lot of aviation guys, Army aviation, and
Yep.
a lot of helicopter pilots and mechanics and.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds really interesting. I know, Mary, we had talked about it a little bit before, but hearing the details of it, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, we try to get out there on those.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll send you the dates and all that good stuff and all of our information. You can check it out. But yeah, Rick takes all the pictures. So the pictures are always great. Like he puts up 200 pictures that day.
Oh, wow.
It's great.
For each one?
I beg your pardon?
For each event?
Yeah,
Take
I
200 pictures?
usually take 200 or 300 pictures.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just
stay busy.
finished some boxing tournaments and I was taking about 1,000 a night. So
that's a lot of editing.
yeah, I try to edit as I go with my camera. So
oh yeah, less to do. I manage a band too, a country band out of Fort Worth, and I'll do that too. If we play a new event, I'm like, okay, let me fix this while I have time. Save it.
See, you do a lot of different things, don't you?
I do. That's how I stay busy. I've got a very creative and analytical mind. So yeah, the business consulting is my primary deal, the nonprofit, and then managing the band that's like out. I'm still meeting people, having fun,
That's great.
The lead singer is also, he was in the military and a business owner. That's how we met in a business group.
What's the name of the band?
It's the Neon Prophets. It's a 90s style country band based out of Fort Worth.
Nice.
Him and I had met and we talked for like 6 years. We would have like in-depth conversations every 2-3 months. And it was not until 2024 when I moved back from Corpus, I finally went to a show and met him in person for the first time. And then ever since then, I just kind of, I was going to shows and he said, hey, we need somebody to run merch. And hey, I'd like you to take on a management role and, do this and that. And I'm like, hey, cool, I'm here. Let's do it.
Nice.
And it's really helped them change their professional image of having somebody that can do all the little things.
Yeah.
Bigger shows, new, original singles released this year. So I'm excited to be a part of that.
Are they part of the Texas Country Music Association?
We are, yes.
Okay, because I do photography for them too.
Okay.
So
yeah, well, I think we're actually going to that awards deal coming up.
Okay. Well, I'll see you there. I'm sure.
All right. I'll have a different cowboy hat on there.
Yeah, you don't have to wear your cab out there. Yeah, that Linda Wilson, she's the founder of it, and she put it on an incredible award. I mean, it's just like they'd have Nashville. The red carpet and the interviews and have a good show. So, and it's like a 2 or 3 day event. So
yeah, Texans really, when they do something, they do it right.
They do. And you have the nonprofit that we talked about a little bit a while ago, and it's tell us about it.
So it's called the Undaunted Warhorse Initiative. It's hard to say. I always say UWI or Warhorse. I didn't love it, but it does have meaning. Like if I looked up the definition of each word, and that was kind of like our caption for a while, was just the definitions. So it made sense. And actually the guy that came to me, he's a real estate broker. We partnered on a few things, and he came to me one time and said, hey, he had taken a little, mental health break from work and everything else. And he met this guy that was at this psychiatric treatment, like a psychologist, where he had an appointment too. Well, this guy had been passed around for the last year and a half from the VA to a homeless shelter to a psychiatric place until it was like 2 weeks or 10 days or something. They sent him back to the VA, and it was just this vicious cycle. And he actually had a fiduciary that was getting money from the government, but the guy was homeless. So the fiduciary didn't know where to send it and didn't make an effort to find him to take care of it. So he wasn't spending the money. Like we were able to get that reallocated back to him. But his name was Philip Raines, and he was the first vet that we started helping. So Brad, my partner, he had said, hey, I think there's a movement or something here that we can, where we can actually help more veterans. And we tried working with homeless. It's really hard. We had 7 at one time. There's one picture there of a bunch of us standing around like shovels and different things. But that was at a property that he had. And we had at one time 7 veterans living there that was helping that one there. Yeah. So that's me in the back with the cowboy hat. That's Brad right to my left. And then Philip Raines is the guy on the far. Well, so Brad's on the right of the picture. The far right is Philip Raines. And you can see his look. And we end up calling him Yosemite because he's talked like Yosemite Sam. He walked like him, had that raspy voice. And so our first RV park, that's like our end goal, is a dual purpose RV park. We want to call it like Yosemite's Place or something like that. But those guys, those 2 on the far end were 2 of the vets that we were helping. And we had others come in. Actually, 3 of them went to work for my construction company when I had it going at the time. So it was a good deal.
Had you started the nonprofit by this time, or you just started helping people?
At this point, we just started helping people, and it became, hey, like there's an actual need here. And this was early 2020. I guess right as COVID was starting to like gain traction, if you want to call it that, before the lockdown and everything else, or shutdown, whatever they called it. And I was busy as crap during that time too, construction. It was just like people sitting at home like, oh, I've got all this work I needed to finish. Let me do it now. But we were doing this, and it just became something. It was like, hey, there's people that need help. Basically, the investors on this property saw the market shooting up and took the property back, sold it for good profit, good for them. They employed some of the guys. So it worked out, but we kind of had to restructure what we were doing. So instead of like trying to buy a facility and take homeless, we said, what if we looked at people that were struggling? Because towards, 2 months into the shutdown, people are losing money, losing jobs, losing their houses. Some people even getting divorced because of all the stress. And we said, there's where people need help. There's where veterans are needing assistance, somewhere to live, a connection to a job. And him being a real estate broker, me being construction, we had that network. So we were able to help people. And that's where it's transitioned to today, is providing temporary relief for veterans in any stage of transition.
And so Brad, he's a veteran also. He's a Marine veteran.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Army and the
Marines
Marines
against him, but
and you just started this, and just like most veterans, you served your country, and then you start serving other people after you get out.
It just kind of stuck. I mean, I was raised in church, so the whole thing of servanthood and all that was kind of instilled in me. I mean, I was I put this in the book I started writing, but I was 5 years old, 6 years old, and I remember being in church on Saturday night, cleaning the pews for Sunday morning. But my dad was a deacon, mom was like secretary and did a lot of stuff with the women's groups. They were very involved, and they had a good heart. They wanted us to just see that and learn that. But at 6, 7 years old, you don't want to be at church every time the doors are open. So I kind of got out of it, but they did give me that base for serving people and the gratitude that comes with it.
And so you became a nonprofit soon after this?
I think that year, I think 2020, we actually filed our paperwork as an LLC, filed with the IRS. So we're 501c3, been going 5 years good now. And during that time, I think we've given away 3 RVs. There's a couple news articles that I shared as well from magazines where they did cover stories on it. Well, mentioned this on the cover, but had a 2-page article in there about stuff we'd done. There was
There's
there. One. So Addie's magazine, I actually have a hard copy here. I'm going to get framed and put up. But this was one, they lost their home in a tornado out Ray Roberts, I think.
Yeah.
Up that
Yeah, they had a tornado up there.
Yeah, it says in the article, I think, where it was. But yeah, we were able to actually get them that RV, that drivable RV right there, and donate it to them. And then this one here, this gentleman here was a Vietnam veteran. He lost his RV, I think, or his house in a fire, and we were able to get him that RV too. And I think there's another one that we did. We've got one now that we're putting like some Band-Aids on. Some not Band-Aids, I shouldn't say that. We're making it livable for them. And then we've actually got 1, 2, 3 housed in RVs right now with partner RV lots, and one person staying at a house. So a veteran that we're helping, he's helping fix the house up to sell it. So by the time the house is fixed, he should be through the counseling and stuff that we're working with him on.
So how do you are the people mostly in the Metroplex that you're helping, or?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, they have been up to this point. Obviously, our goal is to go nationwide, and being in real estate community a little bit, we know people that have land or RV parks that they'll say, oh, hey, if you ever have anybody in Missouri, let me know, or anybody down in Houston. We actually have a couple of people in Houston we're talking to, Corpus actually too. Don't worry about it. Have an RV park. I'll get a trailer. If you have anybody down here, let me know. So it's really catching on, and the idea is obviously there's a need for it.
So how do you vet the folks? I see on your website that you have that there is an intake, and I guess you go in there and you fill out the stuff. But how do you vet the folks that you're helping?
That's a difficult task for sure. So that intake comes after one guy trying to get us to help him, and he wasn't even a vet. We took him at his word and an ID card that he looked like he had made, because we could never verify his service, and he ended up basically just disappearing. The only one that just did that. The rest of them stayed in touch. We've had a few that were problem, for whatever reason, alcohol, anger, whatever it was, that has kind of bit us in the backside. But that questionnaire, along with a criminal background check, we've got a community liaison personnel on our board who's following up, doing I say day-to-day, but 2-3 times a week, checking in, seeing what they're doing, how they're doing. And especially if they need something. Like, we have one guy that he's retired. He just needed somewhere to live to find a job. So we said, okay, we've got an RV. We can get it out to Fort Worth. Azle, actually, he's in Azle. Mm-hmm. And he's a pastor. He's a licensed minister. I don't know if he's got a pastor position, but he just needed a little place to stay for a while and a couple connections.
Have you heard of the Cowtown Warriors?
No, I have not.
I think you guys could have a nice little working relationship. it's a group of Marines that started this organization, and if they're disabled vets, they do a ton of stuff for them, and help them with housing, or help them with the utilities, or finding a job, learning how to budget. They just do so many.
Yeah.
There just seems like there's some crossover with a few of the things that you guys do, along with Jason with Servolution Network.
That's exactly who I was thinking about.
There's
Okay.
so many. I think there's some links that we could get you.
Yeah.
Some
It's
names
always nice,
and
especially,
get you connected.
Yeah, and us being headquartered out of Lavon, which is far east.
Yeah.
And I'm the farthest west in Irving of all the people.
But you may be able to help more people if you had some tentacles out there that you could maybe work with. So I'll get you some information so you can.
Sounds good. Yeah, we actually pride ourselves too on the partnerships that we've created, like with the PTSD Foundation, and then the Texas Veterans Commission, I think, helps with utilities and rent. A lot of small organizations that do that. So we've got those resources. We've got a couple binders.
And combined arms.
Yep.
You get plugged into them, because you might be helping this person here, and he may have other needs that you can't take care of, but you still be helping him with his housing, but he needs, transportation or something else. So it looks like y'all are doing great work.
Yeah.
There's, like I said, there's a need, obviously, if there's several organizations, and I'm finding out more every other month that are closely aligned. And it's honestly a great synergy, and it's motivating for us to see other people that identify the same need and want to try to help as much as they can. I mean, I've been blessed to be where I'm at. So for me to say, hey, let's help these people that don't get it yet or haven't got it yet.
Yeah.
And with the RVs, those are easy sometimes to acquire, and then you can find places to put them in, so the rent's not as expensive as if you were putting them in a apartment or something.
Permanent, like tiny home. A lot of people try to do tiny homes, which we thought about too. But the biggest thing with RVs is cities don't like them. So further out.
So you have to go like Hazel or up by Sanger or
at around the lakes east, like Lake Ray Hubbard, not necessarily, but Lake Lavon. There's several RV parks all up and down 380 between Greenville and McKinney. There's a lot of RV parks. So,
and then it's kind of like a double-edged sword. You can find the RV parks, but sometimes they aren't close to where your veteran needs to be, or there's not public transportation, so they can get where they need to be. But just like you helped the veteran with the tornado, whenever they had the flood down in the hill country, there was a couple here, Josh Weathers. He's Josh. Yeah. Well, they started getting all these RVs, and I think they're still sending them down there. But they've not like one or two or three, but 50 or 60 they've probably done by now. So
I just saw where they recognized the guy at the Houston Rodeo, the Coast Guard guy, that saved 160 lives.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And you just don't know, because a lot of those people were probably veterans, retired down there and lost everything they had. So
yeah, and it's good that when you link up with these other groups, like you're linking up with the PTSD folks. We all know that a lot of times the reason that veterans end up in the position that they need your help is because of the effects from the PTSD. So those are some important links. And then there's organizations that do the equine therapy, and our friends in Granbury who do the donkey rescue. Oh no, it's amazing.
I haven't heard that one. Okay.
It's amazing. And they help veterans because the donkeys just really calm them down.
The same way that they
So
say horses do. Okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, kind of in a different way, because we
right.
had them on our program not long ago, and we learned a lot about the difference between a horse and how they interact with people versus a donkey, and it's completely different. You know,
Huh.
it was a good education.
Yeah, it
But
was.
you have an organization where you can kind of send the veterans so they can maybe start getting some disability or do the paperwork to file some
Right.
claims.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a ton. There's there's law firms that are charging for it that want to partner with us all the time, and it's like I don't really want people to have to pay
Yeah.
Right.
because there's
And
so many
there's
to
so
do
many
it.
organizations that there's so many, like in Tarrant County alone, you've got the city has a VA, has a veteran rep, the
VSO.
county has a veteran rep. That, everywhere you turn, there's somebody around that will, an
Yeah,
organization
we have two on our
will
board
do
that
it
are
completely for free.
yep that are certified. The DAV did mine when I got out of the military, and it was like everything was noted on my disability. So I'm like, you know what? The DAV helped me. I joined a lifetime DAV member just
Mhm.
because, hey, they're doing solid, legit stuff.
Yeah.
So the people you help, do you find them, or they find you, or they referred by
It's
somebody, or
usually it's a
just
referral. They'll see
okay?
somebody else see something on Facebook or come across, like, we go to a lot of networking stuff, a lot of community stuff. Um, we got past 2 years recognized in Rockwall County, one of the nonprofits of the year. So actually, I don't know if I sent that picture or not. I meant to. There was a masquerade ball.
Yeah, I don't think I saw that
Oh, yeah, I
picture.
forgot that one, but
Let's
that
see.
was one of our partner golf tournaments. So that's Brad and I, his daughter, one of the other guys that's been a big sponsor for our tournaments.
And
That was in Arlington. That's Brad and I at the University of Texas Arlington Veteran Business Outreach Center. We went to their business. That's my retirement photo.
you retired how long ago?
2016.
Okay.
I
So
did 20 years and 0 days. I was done. I'm like, get me out of New York, back to Texas.
that's good. So
Yeah, I guess
you
I
and
need to send the other one.
you and Mary met at some event, didn't you?
It was the God Bless Retirement at the Fort Worth Club.
Yep. And they invited us to come. In fact, Alexia Tuttle is
Yeah.
involved in that, and she invites me to come every month. I can't always make every month, but there's a lot of entrepreneurs there. And so you get to share a little bit of what your organization does. And hopefully somebody sees something and they maybe want to get involved, whether it's
So,
financially or actually get involved as a
right.
volunteer. So
It's a really good thing. And to kind of just plug them a little more, what we've done is that we're setting up booths now. They've moved us to the other side from where we met. So we actually have tables now, each organization. She does a brief rundown because there's so many people in there now. But I mean, those guys running for governor at the last meeting, they've had some interesting talks on AI. It's a really good
yeah,
event.
you do. If you're in there when they're talking, you learn some stuff. I'm like, man, I
Anything
didn't know
from
that.
AI to investing to real estate, business.
Yeah, it's crazy the stuff that you can learn.
And the panel that they have, sometimes they get into some heated debates on the best type of investment or, whatever. But just being out at those things, people seeing your face and your name,
Yeah.
it's not just for notoriety for me, but for the organization. I try to be the face and professional as much as I can. But when they see it over and over and they're like, oh, they're helping veterans. And then this organization is doing stuff with veterans and y'all are there. And then there's several, there's so many.
Yeah.
With the 501(c) donations are the lifeblood of your organization. So you've had golf tournaments. How else do you raise money?
Well, we've got a tool raffle right now. So it's a small one. We've got a couple tool sets that we had. We're raffling those off. That one there. That runs through the end of April on this one.
And that's pretty good. $10 ticket.
$10 a
You're only
ticket. Yeah.
selling 100 of them. That's pretty good odds.
Yeah. There's most people are buying like 10 at a time.
Can they go to your website?
Yes,
And
the
find that?
website should have it. It was supposed to have been
Let's,
updated.
Yeah, here
This
it
was
is,
like-
right here.
There it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Should be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a Milwaukee guy, and my grandson is too. So
Having run a construction company, I've always loved the red tools. They, hands down, if a homeowner buys a solid set of those, they'll never replace it.
that's right.
But no, that's a good deal. And Home Depot has really been really good with our golf tournaments the last 2 years. They've come through big, and our raffles at the tournaments have been very successful. Just Traeger smokers, a lot of stuff, but they love what we were doing out. We were rehabbing that house. We got to build a connection with them and opened up some doors for us.
And Home Depot and Lowe's both have a veterans discount, which
They do,
really
yeah.
comes in good if you're rehabbing a house. So
Oh yeah,
It's-
or even run a construction company. I mean, you get I use my rewards instead of the discount, but it was a lot more in rewards from what I was spending there. But yeah, no, they're both great.
And there's 30
Fortune 1000
days.
companies.
There's 30 days left, so there's still plenty of time.
Yeah, it's
So-
supposed to go through the end of April or when we reach the 100 tickets.
Yeah. So it looks like there's still some left. So if you're interested, before Rick and I buy them all up, then yeah.
Now we have a couple ongoing things too that we do. We were heavy into some prison stuff out in Wichita Falls. So we built a library base for them. We got a bunch of quality of life pillows, different things. There was I guess a mandate came out where veterans that were incarcerated had to be given the opportunity to be housed together. So that a lot of prisons, the one in Wichita Falls is like the flagship for Texas. They created these veteran pods. And so they went in and they painted like murals on the wall in the game room, and they had like game systems and washers and dryers. I was like, this is prison. But we did a lot with the books. Like they wanted, military books and different things like that. So that was a ongoing campaign. And then we've got like donate towards an RV. And there may even be one, I don't know if it's implemented yet. I got to check with the operations people, but where you could sponsor a veteran, like at X amount, $50 a month does this for a veteran, or $100 a month can actually provide housing and food, Because a lot of the RV parks will give us a good break on the lot, and then all they're responsible for is the bills. So we can
that's
get
good.
bill assistance through, the Texas Veterans Commission or an organization like that. But it's just, there's so many people that want to help, and there's so many different ways to do it. If somebody's got a specific thing that they want to do, we even have another option. They could put this for, X, as long as it's not paychecks.
And so they can go to your website at warhorse.me
That's it.
and find out more about all this. There's a place to donate. There's a place to buy the tickets for the raffle for the Home Depot or for the Milwaukee tools.
Yep.
And then there's contact information where they can get in contact with you. And, people out there listening, just kind of consider, because there's a lot of people that have RVs that don't ever
Never
use
use
them.
Right.
Yeah.
And you see them sitting around, and, it doesn't take a lot to get one up and running if they've taken pretty good care of it. So
Right. Yeah. And a lot of times it's a tax write-off at some point if you need that. Hey, the same with vehicles. Like we've got one guy now that we're working with. He's very good construction. He's looking for a work truck. That was one of the other images that I grabbed off of Facebook recently. Yeah, one of our big things now, like $3,000, truck to get him around, haul his tools and different things.
Yeah,
Cars and cars.
do you have people that have mobility issues?
Like you mean like physically?
Yeah, like wheelchairs and things like that.
We've had a couple that needed like assistance or like a walker or something like that. We've been able to help in the short term, but there's a lot of places that do the modifications for homes and vehicles and stuff like that as well. And the state does pay for those. Well, the VA pays for those. Sorry, the state may assist as well, but now there's assistance and opportunities there, and we definitely have those connections to those. We don't do a whole lot ourselves.
So, people can come to your website that want to donate, but also people that need help. They can go to your website and find out more about your organization and do the intake form there, and then y'all get on it and
if somebody's
see if you can help them.
or strong patriot and they need help or they want to help, just they can email me. They can email the info@warhorse.me, and we'll talk, see how we can make stuff happen. Because working with business too, I love working with better business owners.
Yeah, and
it's a mentality that we have that just like if focused right can do really well.
You've told us about your military experience and then about your organization, but you have a business life that you do too. I mean, you got to have food with your meals. So
I don't talk about it a lot, but I mean, I go to a lot of events, so I talk about this or that, whatever the event is. But when I moved down to Corpus in 2020, I was kind of burnt out on insurance, customers like not quite happy with the project, even though it was exactly what they told me they wanted. And it's like, okay, I'm going to take a break. Well, in that time, I had helped a couple people start a business. Like, hey, I know you want to start this landscape company. And he's like, hey, where can I get like $15,000 to buy this equipment that I need? And I'm like, what equipment do you need? He's like, well, I need this and this. And I think this. And I started talking to the guy for like a couple of days. And I'm like, do you know exactly what you need? And he's like, not really. So I kind of started coaching this guy into how to start his company from just dragging a lawnmower out of his pickup. So when it got to the point where he knew what he wanted, he just had to get the funding for it. I was in a position to say, I can help you get the money. We'll work out the payment terms at 0 interest, but I'm going to continue to work with you for the next 3 years. And then every quarter, you just pay me, 3% of your profit. And at the time, it was like, no big deal. He's like, what if I start making like $100,000 a month? I'm like, what's $3,000 if you're making 100? So that just kind of led into the deep funding and then into consulting more because I really wanted to see people succeed. And I had a problem with some of the funding platforms as well. They really took advantage of business owners. So instead of trying to pitch the money, I said, let me help you get in a spot where you can take the money, but you don't have to. So for the last 3 years, I've been really heavy into consulting, operations specific. And I've got a partner that works strong with mergers and acquisitions. So business-wise, that's where I operate mostly.
So you the Johnson name kind of rang a bell with me because we've got a fella, Michael Johnson. He's also an Army veteran, and he's been an entrepreneur during his lifetime and started
like his whole life.
Yeah.
As a kid.
He just spoke at roll call last month, and
I really got to get out there.
You gotta meet Michael because y'all got that entrepreneur spirit and same last name. I mean, you might be related or something. Never can tell.
Yeah, well, my aunts traced us back to like 18 something, coming across from England or Ireland somewhere. I don't know, but yeah, we'll see. I know all the names.
Yeah. My ancestors, my great grandfather, I think he left Tennessee on a stolen horse to come to Texas, but But
Probably mine too, if we're being honest. That's where I got my high school gene from.
yeah, that high school time sometimes, it wasn't my best time in life, academically. But after I got into college, man, it was like I really love this stuff. I didn't
Yeah.
like it in high school, but I did go fishing some.
Yeah,
Well, a
we see
lot.
the benefit of learning once you get a little older.
Yeah, absolutely.
Plus, for
Well,
me, it's like not being forced to do something. Like I knew I had to go to the military. We talked about why I did that. I had a kid on the way, or I had a kid, a 1-year-old. But that was different because I knew it was providing something. I could see the benefit of it.
yeah.
But now, like, I don't stop reading. I don't stop watching YouTube videos. I just don't stop learning.
It's,
Yeah, it's important for your mind as we get older to
Yeah,
continue.
stay sharp.
I
for
retired.
sure.
I was 3 days from my 60th birthday, and I went to school and used my GI Bill to get 2 more bachelor's degrees because
You
you
said
just
60?
I turned 60 in 2020.
I wasn't going to ask, but you
But
don't look anywhere close to 60.
oh, you're so
I'm trying to
kind.
figure out how you retired.
Yeah, but you got to keep that mind going. That mind is,
You do.
it's real important that you keep your mind active
And
You gotta
Mary
keep
does.
and your body active.
Mary doesn't only keep her mind active, but she is very active. The organizational roll call has about 1,700 members or so. We've got 500 every month. And, these are guys from World War II all the way up to active duty.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can just imagine that many people, that many veterans, and they all have needs. And,
Yeah.
Mary kind of is the mother hen of it all, and the first sergeant. So,
That's right. I put those first sergeant skills to work.
just like
I picked up on that the first time we talked.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
This guy is 100 and he'll be 103 in August. We just lost our 104-year-old. And John Wilhite, I just took him to Buc-ee's a few weeks ago because he'd only been once before when I took him when he was 99 or 100. I can't remember. The first time he went, and so he kept asking me, I want to go to Buc-ee's again. So I took him. He doesn't use a walker, a cane, nothing. He still drives.
Oh, wow.
He's like amazing, and he's a retired lieutenant colonel. He was in the Air Force, Army Air Corps, and then Air Force. Flew 47 different aircraft. But those are the stories that we get to hear because these guys have so many incredible stories. Our friend
if you
John
live
White,
that,
Ojima survivor, he'll be 101 in May. It's just amazing people with amazing. But I always say everyone has a story, and every story matters. So it doesn't matter
Yes.
how big or how little or where you serve, because we all serve where we're asked to go. We don't all get to go. Not everybody got called to go into combat. Some people needed to fill the mission at home because that has to happen too. And, but every part of that works together to achieve the mission.
Yeah. Well, we were a support unit, so I really understood that. Like, those aircraft weren't going to fly if we weren't.
Right.
And
you needed
the
that
aircraft weren't going to
support.
be supporting the people on the ground if we weren't working. So we weren't on the front lines, but I was in the hangar on the FOBs fixing the helicopters to fly for the people on the,
Right.
And fly
back home was making sure to get the supplies to you so that you could work on those
and take care of families and kids back here. So
but your job wasn't only to get those helicopters running so they could get to the battle, but so they could get home safely. So
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like our friend Bill McIntyre. He lived to be 104, didn't he?
I can't remember how old Bill was, but he was over 100. I know he was over 100.
His job with the Army Air Corps was to do the processing for all the pilots and crews that were getting killed so their families could get the survivor benefits,
Yeah.
And so that was a very critical mission and job for him, because he was making sure that the families were taken care of. But, there's just so many magnificent veterans, and the old veterans like Ernie LaCroix, he was a pilot in Europe, lived to be 104, and he'd say, all my friends are all dead, and they're going to think I went to hell because I never showed up in heaven. but he
I think that's the
finally,
joke with Willie Nelson too.
yeah, absolutely.
Oh, man.
But we need to get you to roll call, and
For sure. Sounds super
again,
interesting.
anybody that's has some needs or knows somebody with needs or has a vehicle or a RV to donate, just go to warhorse.me and go to their website or give Jeff a call and put him to work.
Yeah, put me to work. Let's make a difference here.
Yeah, for
Well,
sure.
it's been a pleasure having you on Hometown Heroes, and we look forward to meeting you in person. So
Yes, for sure.
we need to do that soon, and we're just excited for your nonprofit. We thank you for your service, and not only for your service in the military, but your service out of the military. So you and Brad are doing a great job.
Appreciate that. Thank you, guys. Mary, I'll reach out and we'll talk more about roll call and
Yeah. Well, and I want to get you, I'm going to send you some information on those groups because I think you could have some real good partnerships.
sounds good. You guys are awesome. I appreciate this a lot.
Oh, you're
Well,
very
thank you.
All right. Y'all take care.
We'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Another great American.
I'm telling you, and it's crazy the place that we meet people. It's just all over.
It is. And that's what you meet these people, like you met Jeff, and you just think this was one of those meetings that was meant to be.
Yeah, he was telling me about what they did, and I had never heard of it before, but I occasionally hear from somebody who will reach out and say, hey, I know a veteran who lost their housing and that sort of thing. And so I try to figure out where can I point them. And so it was nice to meet him because it's good to know several possible places. And you're right, when it comes to, RVs, and we even saw in one of the shots that he had, it wasn't even a motorized RV, and they can probably pull it wherever it needs to go.
Or find somebody to pull it.
Right. And so, it really, if people have those, and a lot of people have them and haven't used them in years, donate them, use them as a tax write-off, and let these guys fix them up and get a veteran in there that needs a roof over their head. What a great thing to do.
And just go to warhorse.me and find out more about their organization.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, we've got an event coming up, the car show. When is that?
The 11th of April is the car show, and the passport run will be going on before that. So there's several places that folks that have a car in the show can go and get their passport stamped, and then that will be entered into a drawing for 50,000 American miles. If you come to the car show, no cost to enter. If you just want to come, but you bring canned goods for the food pantry. And again, you get entered into a drawing for 50,000 American Airlines miles.
Just for bringing food?
Just for bringing food. So it's a neat opportunity. And so that will be going on at the Car and Toy Museum right there at, I think it's Meacham and 35W. So, come out that morning and stay throughout the day, and you can go in the museum. I believe it doesn't cost anything to go in the Car and Toy Museum on top of it. So we'll have Don Graves out there. He'll be entertaining people, or really taking pictures with people and telling stories as he loves to do. And then on the 24th is our April luncheon. And that luncheon the RSVPs open on the 13th. So if it goes as fast as it went from 3 hours to 2 hours, I hope it doesn't go from 2 to 1.
30 minutes.
It's insanity. I don't know how we can do that, but
I don't think a George Strait concert fills out as quickly as roll call.
Oh, we're trying to find some solutions to, get the volunteers definitely moved out of the main hall and some other things to try to free up some seats, but we'll have to keep working on it. The challenge is folks always want us to add more seats or to move somewhere. And, the reality is that if we move somewhere, we have to raise a lot more money, because right now, Birchman Baptist Church, Brother Bob and his team are so wonderful that it doesn't cost us anything for the facility. We pay for the meal and the tablecloths, that kind of thing. The overhead associated with serving the lunch, not the building. So if we had to do that, it cost us far more than it does. So,
Truly, Birchman's been a great blessing to Roll Call.
yes.
It all goes back to Bill McIntyre and Brenda and Brother Bob way back there, and
Yeah.
just a smaller group started coming, and it's just grown over the years. So
Yes. It's insane how much it's grown and how fast.
and you can find out more about Roll Call at roll-call.org. And there's also, it's a 501c3, so there's also a place that you can donate. You can have a monthly donation taken out, or you can do one time, or just go find out more about us and consider making a donation to feed a veteran.
Yep. $20 a month, you could feed a veteran, and that would be the meal and any of the other stuff that goes into the luncheon. So, $20 a month. What is that? A couple of Starbucks a month?
Yeah. So, it's just about a hamburger now.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's crazy, isn't it? How'd it happen that you used to be able to go and get one of the meal deals at one of the burger joints for, $5-6, and now it's like 15.
Yeah,
Man.
just a drink's about $3. So things have changed. Well, we thank you for being a part of this Hometown Heroes podcast, and we thank Jeff Johnson for being on, and we look forward to seeing you again soon on Hometown Heroes